emergency in New York City generally means that schools are closed. However, due to COVID, remote learning remains in effect, but that could soon change. Mayor de Blasio expected to release his school reopening plan sometime this month. Over the weekend, he sent a survey to school principals to assess their school's readiness for in-person learning. Councilman Mark Trayger, who serves as the chair of the Education Committee, joining me now this morning to weigh in on these reopening plans. Councilman Trayger, good to see you again. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Dan. Good to be with you.
So, Councilman, before we discuss the school reopening plan or lack thereof, really, we'd like to speak about the vaccine distribution and the disparities that exist because of your district impacted by miscommunication over the weekend over the vaccine availability, which we're kind of hearing throughout the area, right? So what happened on Coney Island this weekend?
Well, Dan, thank you for bringing this to light. You know, Coney Island has been hard hit by this pandemic. It has the 5th highest death rate per capita in the entire city of New York. What happened this past weekend was unacceptable. I was informed by people working inside of Abraham Lincoln High School, which is a vaccine site, that the site was largely empty from the morning hours all the way into the early afternoon. There was virtually no one getting vaccinated. Meanwhile, if you check the city website, it says no availability. It says that all the appointments have been booked. So one would assume that there are numerous people getting vaccinated when in fact that wasn't the case. Until I broke the news and shared on my social media the video of no one getting any help inside the facility, then at that point, the city began to make changes to their policy.
So besides putting the video out on social media, I just want to ask about communication because it's so vital for this vaccine distribution. When you reached out to Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, did you get a response?
I got a response after the video was shared, and the response I was given was still unacceptable. They mentioned that they were rescheduling canceled appointments previously. And I said, if you were rescheduling previous canceled appointments, where are they? And if you had availability, why didn't you post it on the website? There are people literally waiting weeks, for appointments at this site. They never reflected the availability on the website. So after I shared it and spoke to them, they allowed some walk-ins to come in to at least get some help, Dan. But it was unacceptable. It was a dysfunctional, disconnected system.
And I think the big question is, what happens to those vaccine doses that were there? And we're going to be talking about the disparities between the white population, black and brown communities in terms of the numbers of how vaccines were distributed in our 8 o'clock hour. But, Councilman, I do want to talk about what this vaccine distribution and disparity ties into, which is a school reopening plan, right? A lot of parents worried about this. They want to know more. Mayor de Blasio says teachers and school staff are being vaccinated, but at the rate these vaccinations are going, what you're talking about, there doesn't seem to be a clear timeline of when this will be completed. So what are you hearing from teachers and school staff about this?
I'll tell you, Dan, I hear from teachers literally every day asking for help for an appointment to get vaccinated. Teachers, I have to say this, teachers care about their students. They care about their school communities. They want to get access to the vaccine. They can't make appointments. And it's not just teachers, it's secretaries, it's paras, counselors. They can't get appointments. So this is all interconnected. If we can't get this vaccination system right, then this delays everything, including our safety, including our ability to reopen our city economy, and of course, our city's public school system. So this incompetence and this indifference to getting this vaccine system right must come to an end because it is impacting our ability to fully reopen our school system.
The mayor sent a group to survey what was happening at schools to see if they are ready for in-person learning. The deadline for those results of those studies is this Friday. Is there a realistic timeline for reopening schools?
Dan, quite frankly, principals and school leaders don't need a survey to know what the needs are. We still have thousands upon thousands of school staff out on medical accommodations. We have thousands of educators and school community stakeholders who want to get vaccinated, but they cannot find an appointment. So the reality is the vaccination system that we have right now, which is completely broken, is completely connected to our ability to reopen the school system and to reopen the city's economy.
Besides the vaccines, take that out of the equation for a second, even though I know it's a huge chunk. We are coming up on a year that students have been in this remote or hybrid learning, right? So what else do you think needs to happen in order for schools to be ready to fully reopen for in-person learning? And is it actually foreseeable that it would happen this year, or is this year just a wash and we'll say we'll be ready in the fall?
Well, Dan, that's a very important question, and the mayor still has not disclosed how much staff schools are short by. So, for example, I am told anecdotally that one of the reasons why they had to shift high schools to full remote was because there were some high schools that serve over 3,000 students, but only 100 students were coming in because there was little to no staff coming in. And they were only being offered virtual study hall, which is not in-person instruction. So the reality is we need an accurate accounting, an accurate number count of how much staff we actually have available. The mayor still refuses to disclose that information.
I'm out of time here, but do you think, as the chair of the the Education Committee, that schools should return this year or wait until the fall?
Dan, I believe that's completely contingent upon our ability to get the system right. Because we should reopen our schools under a safe and sound system. Right now, we're just not getting this right, Dan.
Understood.
That's why I'm calling for a fix.
Councilman Mark Trayger, thank you for your time and your voice this morning on both the vaccine issues and, of course, what's happening in the city school system. Stay safe to you and your community.